Well, in case you just joined us, welcome to the program. This is Business Africa. Rising global food prices has a major impact on consumers. The latest FAO Food Price Index shows an increase of 2.7% in November this year compared to the same period last year, as a result of unfavorable weather conditions observed in recent months around the world. Serge Patrick Manku and Ronald Kato have more.
Consumers had to dig deeper into their pockets to pay for food in November. Prices around the world rose remarkably last month, eating into consumers' incomes. The Food and Agriculture Organization Index of Changes in Marketed Food Products was 177.2 points during this period, 2.7% higher than in October, and 9.5% more than in the same period last year. The changes were driven by strong import demand, and Africa is not spared from the trend. Bad weather has compromised crop quality and productivity in several countries on the continent, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. Zambia, which has endured a severe drought, has faced what is considered to be an exceptional increase in food prices. Other African countries in dire need of food assistance include Libya, Madagascar, the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, Zimbabwe, and others. Zimbabwe's food insecure population is estimated to rise to 7.7 million by March of 2020, according to the World Food Programme.
Let's find out more about this subject with Jean-Marie BIADA, an economist and expert certified by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization from the economic capital, Cameroon. Good to have you on the program, sir.
Hello, it's a pleasure talking to you and your cherished viewers.
To what can we attribute this sharp increase in food prices?
The increase in food prices observed by the close of the year on the African continent can be explained by what Anglo-Saxons call the price takers. That is, prices are formulated elsewhere. So we are not the main producers. We only find ourselves in the shoes of a consumer. On the continent, we are much more likely to be only consumers. So 100,000 tons of rice is cultivated in a year for Cameroon, while the consumption rate hovers around 300,000 tons. They sometimes even end up importing 400, 500 or 800,000 tons, as was in the case in 2016. So from my point of view, this price hike can easily be observed in Africa because we are not the net producers of the products we consume. We are left only to import only.
From your analysis, how do you think this phenomenon has affected the African continent?
African economies are suffering enormously from the soaring food prices because generally you will find that everything we import in Africa is priced in dollars at 80% and 20% in euros. So looking at countries in Central Africa only, the 1972 Financial and Monetary Convention is clear on this issue. If the stock of foreign exchange does not allow a country to import between 3 and 4 months of foodstuffs or other raw materials to keep the economy running, it is a question of either devaluing or France intervening to replenish it. But unfortunately, we don't have the chance to choose the first option of devaluation. Secondly, we export all our currencies, so it weakens the economy. Thirdly, we can safely say that people are losing their purchasing power because everything we consume locally is brought elsewhere. This paradox leads to price explosion, which further worsens this situation to the detriment of the local population.
Can the external assistance required by more than 30 African countries solve the problem?
The problem can be reversed because, in the economic term, the wealth of a country is its gross domestic product. The wealth of a country is a vibrant production sector. When you look very closely at the weight of official development assistance from all these countries, generally it is in around 0.01% of GDP. So all these states that rely on public assistance to have a position that will allow them to be free, I think it's a bit of a mistake to hide behind one's failures. The solution lies in production. That has been the case in the history of economic facts and the history of economic thought. So it is not what we are experiencing today that will refute this economic law. This can be explained by the fact that some public policies are decided elsewhere. You only have to see what we call here a common policy. Let's take, for example, the case of Central Africa. Even if you want to show community patriotism, it will be someone who tells us we have to put the harmonized public framework aside. We are unable to make common policies. Our second lever of economic policy is money.
Thank you very much, Jean-Marie BIADA, for your insights. Jean-Marie BIADA is an economist and a UNIDO certified expert.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
So that's it in this edition of Business Africa. Thanks for joining us. Remember that you can reach us on air and online, both in French and in English. Keep following Africanews.
À très vite.